Well, hi guys. This is my first YouTube video that I'm gonna do for my new channel, and so first of all, welcome to the video, and thank you so much for checking it out. I know you're probably looking at the title and really want me to get to it. So today I'm going to be talking about writer's block, which is something that pretty much everybody who writes experiences. So a little bit about myself. I am an avid writer. I write every single day. I've written for years, and I am currently in the process of getting my first book published. So I decided to make a YouTube channel that I can use to communicate with my potential readers, or people who want to just talk about writing, or people who do like to write and want to know, you know, the writing process, what to do about writer's block, and all that kind of stuff. So my first video is going to be about writer's block, and I am just really gonna get to it. So writer's block is basically when you want to write, you have the desire to write, but you just can't get past either a certain section of what you're writing, or you can't even start, or you have no ideas to even write about, which is really frustrating because I can't really go a day without writing. It's like in my blood. So when I do have writer's block, it frustrates me. And I actually am kind of one of those people who rarely gets writer's block, which is amazing, and I'm so thankful. But when I do get writer's block, I get very frustrated. And a lot of my writer's block comes from when I'm writing a story and I get to this point in the story and I cannot figure out how to make it believable, is where I struggle the most. So I'm going to address that, and also I will be addressing the writer's block when it comes to not coming up with ideas. So I guess I'll start with what I am more personally affected by is when I'm in the middle of writing a story. So I only write fiction. So I don't write any nonfiction. I maybe could in my future, but I only write fiction for right now. So when I'm writing a story and I get stuck, normally I get stuck in a place where I have a situation and I don't really know how to make it believable to my reader. And it frustrates me because it makes me feel like I am not good at writing. But my number one advice for this is, you are writing a fiction novel. If it doesn't make sense, make it make sense. So that sounds kind of like unhelpful, but where I've found is I try to come up with resolutions in my stories with facts or with things that actually could work in the world. Like, maybe I'll give an example so you can totally understand where I'm coming from. You know, there is an alien who goes to your high school. That's great. And you're trying to find a way to maybe get to their ship. Okay, and you come to the point where it's just so unrealistic that there would be a ship, a big alien ship in your town that nobody knows about and that didn't see come out of the sky, and you know, all these things. You're like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. People are going to be asking these questions. Well, make it make sense. You are not being put into a box when you're writing. So if you can't figure out, okay, how do I get past this question people might ask, how do people not see this alien ship fly down from the sky and land on the earth? That makes no sense. Well, okay, cool. Well, maybe you're out of the box now, and now your alien ship can disappear. It can be invisible, or it can only be visible to a certain type of person. Oh, that makes your character, that certain type of person, that makes your character special. That could even trigger more of an idea. Really weird example that I just gave there, but it just is a good example of you're not stuck in a box. And if you're writing fiction and what you're writing doesn't make sense, make it make sense, because you can do whatever you want. So a lot of times though, if you have that mindset and you sit down and you're like, all right, I'm gonna think about this now and I'm gonna come up with a solution, and then you still can't. My number one go-to when I'm stuck and I have writer's block is what I call music and motion. So put my headphones in, I go on a run, and all I do is think about scenarios, whether they relate to the story I'm writing now or not. I just think about scenarios, and I relate it to the music that I'm listening to. So I'll let my playlist run. I have certain playlists that I'll listen to, I let my playlist run. I'll let the words to the song kind of guide me to different scenarios and different stories that, you know, could be happening along with the music. And I come up with either ideas for new stories, or I come up with a solution for the story that I'm currently writing. So that is like my main, if you have writer's block, I call it music in motion. Earbuds in, go for a run. If you don't run, go for a walk. Like sometimes I honestly want to walk because I can think better. But yeah, music in motion. Never count out exercise and the influence of other people's artwork, which is great. And alongside of that, if you come up with songs that really relate to your story that you're writing, I make a playlist for different writing, like different stories that I'm writing at the time. So my story that will be coming out hopefully in September is called Hickory Ridge. And so I have a playlist on my phone called Hickory Ridge, and I add songs to it that relate. So that's a really good tip that I like to do too. I've written some things on my phone so I don't forget. So we talked about music in motion. We talked about letting yourself free and out of the box. You can make whatever the heck you want. Ooh, this one's fun. So create different characters and really dive into them. So when I can't think of story ideas, I start to think about the characters first, which I actually normally do anyway when I write. Because I love coming up with characters and I love making them complex, and you know, I even write like backstories. I won't even use the backstory in my writing. I'll just write backstories so I know what happened to my character in her past, his or her past. And so that's something really fun to do. If you're struggling with the story idea, just start writing about characters. I'll write out, you know, my character's name, where she lives, what her favorite season is, what's on her walls in her bedroom, what her favorite activity is. Does she wear makeup? Does she like to read? What are her fears? Literally anything I can about my characters, and a lot of times just getting down their characteristics can help me come up with a new story idea or a setting I want them to be in, or that kind of thing. So that's one of my favorite things to do if you ever are stuck, you want to be creative, but you don't really have a story idea to come along, because I think it's very important to write every day. And so even if it's just writing out characters, it's super fun. And it's fun to get into like writing characters that are super weird and maybe wouldn't actually be in real life, you know? So you can just get really fun with that. And then I have binge watch shows. So writer's block. If you binge watch shows when you have writer's block, it will almost definitely trigger ideas in your head. So you should even watch shows that you normally wouldn't, because it can really trigger ideas in your head. And also when you watch shows, you can see what ideas are already out there so that you're not repeating, you know, which is really important. So I think binge watching shows is a really good, that's just so random, but I think it's a really good trigger for writer's block. And then the last thing I have written down is my last resort, I would say, because like I said, I think writing every day is super important. It's kind of like exercising every day, you know. It's very healthy to exercise every day, 100%. But also, if your body is tired, you have to take a break. You just do. You know, you can't push yourself to a limit where it's unhealthy. And so I think you can do that with writing too. So if you have major writer's block, take a week off. And that is totally fine. You're not a bad writer if you need to take a week off. You're not doing something wrong if you need to take a week off. It just will really help you to create more ideas in your head as you are relaxing, you know. And if you come up with ideas during that week off, like maybe something happens to you, an experience, and you're like, oh, that'd be a really good story or something like that, just jot it down. You know, don't go full out, just jot it down so you know. But hopefully that week will be like a week of rejuvenation and you can kind of come back fresh. And even during that week you can read too, because reading is just like so important, you know. Literally always, not even when you just have writer's block, but literally always, reading is really important. So just to recap, so for writer's block, you should do music in motion, so headphones in, go on a run. You should take a week off, take a break, that's last resort, but it's probably one of like the most beneficial ones. Binge watch shows, that's really hard to say, binge watch shows. Create different characters and outline things about them, very detailed things about them, and then let yourself free. Think outside of the box, which you tell yourself all the time, oh, just think outside of the box. But literally, like, don't just think outside of the box, like create a new box. Create a new box that you're gonna jump into, because you can do anything when you're writing. If it doesn't make sense, make it make sense, because you can do anything. So thank you guys so much for coming to my first video, and I want to do a weekly video. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna start doing that, but yeah, thank you guys so much. Give me a like, or give me in the comments, yes, give me in the comments something that you want to talk about on this channel, because I'm really dedicating this channel to writing, but I also really want to dabble in maybe like, you know, book reviews or talking about art or even songs, you know, that really influence. So yeah, just drop me a comment, and thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys.